myself, formally say hello. So hello, my name is Mark Hartright. I do professional development for Smart here in the UK. And today I really want to support you with a quick bite-sized training session, live online training, which we're delivering hybrid lectures and how that kind of sits for you within your setting. Slight focus towards the university settings, but obviously, like I said just previously, is hopefully can work in your setting as well. So in the chat box at the side, I have put a code in there, which we can use later on to interact with this training session. But if you want to ask any questions, whether that's through the session at all, we are going to stop for a massive Q&A session pretty much at the end. So feel free if you want to leave them to then, and we can answer with that. Or of course, email me afterwards as well. You've got my email address. If you haven't, I'll display that in a moment as well. If you just make sure it's to all the panels and all attendees, then we can all kind of answer each other's question and saves asking the same one a few times. So if you do want to join in, we are going to go to a separate web browser in a few moments, and we're going to play along. So if you just go to hellosmart.com, don't worry about too much now. I'll go again in detail when we actually step into it, just so some people might want to give a bit of a heads up. Separate web browser, hellosmart.com. We're going to sign in as a guest. That's your class code there, 162353. And then if you want to put in your name, like I said, we're going to go do that in a bit more detail, but some people just like to jump on ahead with that. Back to introducing myself. I am Mark. I am a Smart exemplary educator. I'm now doing professional development from Smart. I'd love to hear more about how you're getting on, and I'd love to support you as much as I possibly can, whether that's through an online training session like this, whether that's through an email, or whether that's a tweet saying, what do I do with this? That's great. And of course, Smart are throughout social media as well, so feel free to check them out and learn from them. So today, our objectives today are trying to get, again, understanding of how to deliver lectures using this hybrid style, whether that's, I've purposely gone for hybrid as opposed to blended, purposely looking at as we've got some students that might be in class or in the lecture hall or wherever it might be. Some students might be somewhere else, either within campus or within somewhere else completely, or back at student digs or back at home. And there's that side there. So, but how can we either get them all together, or you're learning a bit, and it's that asynchronous as well as synchronous, and that kind of hybrid term I thought encompasses all of those all together. So we're going to be looking at very much a presenting way if you're wanting just to inform your students of something, whether that's something as just welcome to this university campus, here's the fire exit, or it might be actually a working document where you are displaying something all, a bit like a maths wall when you're showing an equation, you're working something out with your students. Or it might be collaboration, some point where you are working up here, students are coming together to working, but also socially distancing wise, we're not physically close together. It might be one here, but are actually working together still on that same document. And then how Smart software, how Smart solution can support you and your students for all of that. Right, so let's jump on to the first one of those. Presenting. I'm just going to come over here so I can see the list a bit better. So presenting wise, this is very much, might be your housekeeping rules. I've kind of, from my limited experience with the universities and kind of doing some research and asking other friends and colleagues this week, beginning of lectures, beginning of term, the housekeeping side is very important. What's your course look like? What is the structure of it? And if that's the kind of play where it's just being sent out on a large display at the front, or it's being written up on the board, that's obviously that's time that's lost. We can be sending that as a document, and obviously a lot of people do, whether it's a PDF or whatever, but actually having it on the board and being able to annotate over the top, just making these notes at the side can be quite useful. Pick up a pen, just start annotating on top of that. If you are delivering this lecture through a smart board, then it has got smart ink as well. So even on the desktop as well, you can pick up a pen, you can start annotating over the top, on top of that PDF, where it might be some amendments that are made from it, and then that ink can be saved either within the PDF, or it can be kind of exported without it, depending on which notes you want to do with that. It might be just giving that overview of the term and just highlighting key points to it. Again, as I said, like here, we've got lots of different pens within it as well. So it might be highlighting over that. You can just see it's a straight line or a wiggly line, whichever way you want it to kind of do that. But all those different tools, all that functionality sits within this piece of software here, which I'm using within my desktop, which is Smart Notebook. If I just want to go full screen as well, I have got that ability. So I can go full screen and actually present to everyone like this. Quite often in lecture halls, you have got a large display at the back as well. It is possible to have this board here and you can be writing on, but obviously if it's a larger facility, there are some ports around the back of it as well, which has got HDMI out, so that can be then presented to a display, whether it's a large projector or something, or even just multiple boards around the lecture hall for displaying within Smart Notebook, which is sitting on your desktop on here. Whether it's just key information, whether it's just showing definitions, if it's that prepared something. When I was teaching, I often found these key notes and stuff like that, even if I'm just reading something off the board, if I've got it there, first of all, it's a memory jogger to me. So I know the kind of a flow of it rather than having to hold notes. I've got my notes here. But also it gives the students a focal point for what they're looking at for as well. So that presenting way is quite a useful way of looking at that. What I've done here, I've also put my presentation within Smart's online piece of software, which is Smart Learning Suite Online. I've loaded this within Teams as well, so we can send it out straight in Teams. And I can see that I've already got Christopher, Nigel, and Paolo joined as well. So if anyone else wants to join, if you now just go to hellosmart.com, and that's your class code there. I'm just going to walk that through here. So let me open up a separate tab. So first, what you do, if you want to play along, hellosmart.com, and I'll just press return. So then it's going to ask me to just sign in as a student. If I want to do it as a teacher, I can up there, but I'm just going to sign as a student. Just for now, I'm going to go in as a guest. And then that code was 162353. That's in the chat as well. I'm just going to post that again in the chat. So you've got that. And your name, I'm just going to go in as M for now. So then this is the student view here. And I can see that that is on that side. Brilliant. So I've got it. So I've now got 5 people joined. So thank you for somebody else that's joined as well. And you can see that that one is there. So as I go through this document here, it's just going to freeze for me now, isn't it? Just going to kick you out of that lesson. Start it up again. So like I said, like you can see here, we are doing this within Teams. So if you are doing that hybrid teaching and you want to teach within Teams, you want your video conferencing software, you want your the advantages of Teams and all the different teams within it, the assignment set checking, the chat, everything. I mean, Teams is massive. I can't really sum it up in a sentence or two. That is there, but also we have got the Smart Learning Suite plugin. To get that there, you can just go to the apps, find Smart Learning Suite, and you might need an admin person to make sure that it's all working, and then that app can be used for you and your institution. So as I click on here, if I am presenting stuff, as I go down, yours is changing as well. If I click back to the student view here, you can see now my student one has gone on the next page as well. And for those people that have joined, it was Steve, the other person, and Matt, thank you very much for joining as well. You can see that that document is there as well. So this might be a starting point for my note taking and everything like that. But actually, what I want to do is for you to make notes of this as well. And I've got the choice here to either do it in an individual way or in a collaborative way. So if I just for now, we put it in a collaborative way, with that one click, yes, I've taken that file to start with. I could either have a PDF, a PowerPoint file, or a Smart Notebook file. And what I've done is I've converted it into an interactive resource. So now with that hybrid teaching, whether I'm here, whether I'm there, wherever it is, we can now actually come together to actually do with this. And we can put you in different teams. I'm just going to put this all into one just so we can see the benefit of that multiple linking. You can now see you have got these tools appearing at the side as well. So if you want to, feel free to pick up a pen and then you can make that annotation. I've made the annotation here. You can make the annotations as well on your screen, and then that will appear on everybody else's devices as well. So who's clicked on delivery here? As you can see that I can't click on it at the moment. My fingers. Who's done that one? Somebody likes it. Let's see if that one is. Cool. Is that drop down arrow there should tell me who is making all of these annotations here. At the moment, it's not just working for that one, which is always the case when I try and do a live webinar. But this one up here, can I just write on that one there? No, it's not working. Hey ho. But we can see that essentially it's Pablo. Thanks for that. So we can see that we are annotating all the top of these and we're working together to do that. And it's that working document. We're taking notes. If I did this in groups, we could be solving an equation, solving a problem in our groups, and all these different styles here. It also having actually a physical drawing of it, whether we're running this over Teams or Zoom or whatever it might be, that kinesthetic delivery where students can actually see me inking on it, or if I'm talking to a camera, actually see me do it, quite often supports the learner rather than just it appearing out of nowhere. It's that little step that sometimes is their learning style, which they need to do. And at the moment, that trying to facilitate those learning styles, even in a hybrid way of delivering it, is really key and really, really important. So there's just a few different points within that one. I'll come on to assessments as well. So what else have we got within here? If we're just moving down here. So this one here is just that collaboration of ideas. So this one here is an assessment, is one of the activities called Shout It Out. And this activity here is gaining people's ideas and thoughts. So you will now have a pop-up menu which looks something along the lines of this. You can type in your answer here. You can choose a category, 1 or 2. You can send up anything you want within reason. So just a hello or whatever it is, just type a response and that appears here. It might be which institution you're working from. It might be what you plan on doing for the rest of your afternoon. You can send an answer or just hello, fantastic. Hello from Brussels, fantastic. So we're sending on those answers up to the top here, and we've got this category here. Maybe I wanted to put this one on over this side, so that's that category here. We've got St. Joseph's College, fantastic. Thank you. So wherever you're sending that information on, we're doing this in a hybrid way. We could be running this through Teams or through Zoom. I could have turned your cameras on, your sound on, so I could be interacting in that way. I wanted to deliver this more of a training session in this way. So we're sending up these answers here. Calls and planning for this afternoon. Lucky you. Lucky you, Chris. Yes, and hello, Steve from Slough. So here we're really facilitating that hybrid way of delivering, and you're still gaining people's ideas, but wherever they are. This equally works well when you're within the classroom, within your lecture hall, wherever it might be, and you're just asking students responses. I know from my own university days that some mornings, should we say, the fact of actually submitting my answer formally out loud, first of all, may not be the greatest thing for everybody else. But actually, me to be able to just almost text the classroom, text the front of the lecture hall, be able to deliver that would be a great way. And this obviously, it just gives everybody a voice. And equally, when we are doing the hybrid approach, that gives them a voice for that as well. Also, something that's really useful is just getting a quality assurance halfway through your lecture, your lesson, whatever it might be. How are we understanding this? Quick fire to the room, and then I know to go off on this tangent or on this tangent. It's that assessment through it as well. So from this one here, this is something called response, which is also one of the assessments within the smart software. And you can see you're zipping through these questions here. Again, they're just silly questions like understand to gain answer. And then I can see I've actually shown you which one it is there. But the whole point of this is to get that quick fire answers. And I'm getting a poll here. We've got 50% done. I can show that these questions have been done, those questions have been done. And it's pretty neat. Thanks for that answer, because that's just a poll and opinion, getting some quick fire answers at the back. I am going to end that for now. So apologies if you are halfway through it there. And what I can actually do with this here, I can look through the results. You can actually now analyze your own data on your device. But if I export these results, I can actually export those as an Excel file. And then I can use that data later on if it's more of a formative assessment, as opposed to getting some quick information during that lecture as well. Jumping down, the collaboration side of it. We've looked at the group work, working together with that. The other one there was the individual handouts. So if I just change this page here to an individual handout, what it's doing, rather than putting us all together on one canvas, if you like, we are now putting everybody on your own canvas. So there's Paolo's, there's Steve's, and you have got a teacher handout here. So I can, sorry, I've just gone off camera. I can see there that this is my teacher copy, and I can still model this for the people that are in front of you. But actually, if I want to jump into a individual person, Nigel, I'm going to pick on you. And Nigel, this is Nigel's work here, and he's done absolutely nothing. So I might be able to say, just what's this one here? How can you define that? And then you can go away and work on that. And that's your individual work for everybody. And obviously sometimes that's really, really keen. That's what we need to do, is that individual work throughout during our lecture, or if they're taking this on at home. Obviously, this is now within Teams, so the students can access this outside of hours as well. It's not just that synchronous approach, it can be that asynchronous style of way of looking at it as well. Brill. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to, because at the moment I've just done this all teacher paced. So this is just showing you, I'm doing the lecture, you're carrying it on here. I'm just going to jump over to student mode there. So now you have got control of the lesson. And if you can see here, as is the student view here, you can go up and down, you can go back into the handouts, or you can go and carry on and do the other parts of the work like that, which obviously could be for later on as well. I'm just going to jump back where I started using Smart Notebook, which is on the desktop. And that Smart Learning Suite online one is all based online. It works on any device because it is just works in a web browser. We've just integrated within Teams, so that's the way I was showing you there. We're also fully integrated with Google Classroom as well. So if you are more of a Google route as opposed to a Microsoft route, you can have that as well. The links for something like that, you can send student links, and all those student links can be uploaded into your VLE, whatever it might be, whether it be something like Seesaw, whether it be Blackboard, whether it be whatever it is, Canvas. So your students can access that in those ways as well. I'm just going to highlight this little Space Invader at the top here. So if you do download Smart Notebook, it is a free download. You can use it. If you want the premium version, there is a small cost to that, but there's a 45-day free trial anyway. Just have a go and have a look at these. And these are some of the games I looked at here. There's the response that we briefly looked at, and there's the shout out as well as rank orders. And there's quite a nice like label reveal for one as well. It just puts that worksheet, if you like, in front of your students to make it interactive. But in an eye of trying to keep this roughly to time, that's just a very quick starting point. If you would love to find more information, please let me know. Please come and ask, email me directly, or have a look at Smart Tech website. There's loads of really, really good stuff on there. Or the Smart Support YouTube channel. Again, there's loads of stuff for you to kind of begin your journey of learning some more with that. I just wanted to give you a quick snapshot of something with there. But a challenge for you is just sort of share your ideas with hybrid teaching. How are you going to choose this approach? What software are you using? What hardware are you using? What's your setup looking like? Are you just teaching in smaller bubbles? And there are some universities that are looking like they're going to have to accept more students than before. Open a dialogue. I've always loved to chat to different teachers, different lecturers, just to kind of hear your stories. So feel free to do that. Have a look on different social channels as well. And again, not just from my own social channels, Smart is across all different social channels. So feel free to put those on there. I haven't seen any questions pop up in the chat. So hopefully that's been a very quick whistle stop of a few pointers there. Feel free to put those questions on there. I'm going to carry on going if no questions pop up. But if anything does pop up, just pop it in that chat box there. In a couple of weeks' time, this is a bi-weekly training session. I do this every 2 weeks, and that's the plan for the next academic year. Smart, I'm aware that Scotland are back now. You're up and running. And we're looking at their curriculum in a bit more detail into how this works within the Scottish curriculum. So we're going to look at how Smart supports the curriculum of excellence. But obviously some of it will be able to apply to you in your setting as well. And we're going to do that one in a couple of weeks. I'm glad you found that clear. Yes, I can share your Smart file, Becky. That's no problem. The best way to get started is to download Smart Notebook. If you just go to download Smart Notebook 20 and Smart Technologies, just Google that and you can have the link there. If you can't find it, email me and we'll get cracking from that. And there's lots of tutorials, there's lots of work through videos to support you with that. The online one that we looked at in detail as well. If I just jump back to here, I'm just going to jump you out of that lesson there. If I just go to home here, so if you go to hellosmart.com, but rather than signing as a student, sign as a teacher, you'll be able to start your free trial in that way. And there are some really good training videos and walkthroughs and stuff within that as well. So hellosmart.com, but signing as a teacher as opposed to a student, and that should support you in that way there. In a similar way, rather than just doing a quick message like this, if you do want me to come out to your school or set up a virtual training session where we can go in a bit more depth and a bit more detail, I can be booked out for that time there. We can set up a bespoke package, whether it's a one-off training session or it's that CPD approach that looks at across the year as well. So feel free to do that as well. And of course, your feedback always helps. This is the beginning of a new series. This is the first one coming back since a small summer break. So I'd love your feedback as well. If you want to go to that web address there, take a picture, scan that QR code. Your feedback will be very much appreciated. I'm just going to see if there's a few more questions popping in as well. Thanks. I want a quick lesson for teachers here in Wisconsin. Okay, I'm happy to share that with you. There are some brilliant smart exemplary educators that work in the Wisconsin area as well, particularly in the maths departments. So we can always be in touch with those as well. But yes, I can send you that file, Becky. What I will do is just take a print screen of that one, so I know, and I won't. What is that one? Do you have any trainings who would potentially in the future visit us and give us training sessions? Yes, Matt, that's most of my job role. Yes, I have this supporting you in this way, but I do professional development specialist is what my title is. So helping you and coming out to your school is exactly key, and I'd really love you to support you for that. So if you want to drop me an email, Matt, with the exact details of that, then we can be in touch there. Glad you found that useful, Nigel, and for all your students there. Yaman, you've answered the question about being very heavy on the device. I'm not entirely sure what you mean by that. So if you want to drop me an email, then we can kind of clarify that, and I can support you with there in a bit more detail. Can students at home see all the shouted outs from anyone who's just at the teacher board? So it's just at the teacher board. I'm collecting all those shout outs, that is up there. If you do want to share those with the students, you can just take a print screen and then paste that onto the next page and then share that with everybody. It just just in case some of the stuff coming up to the board isn't quite appropriate, it's just that's the way we've kind of looked at it from that way. Have you already said how we can access the teacher login rather than the student login? Is it the same code? So the way I accessed this, I don't want to come out of the lesson. The way I've accessed this lesson here is I went to hellosmart.com, but rather than going in as a student, I went in as a teacher. So if I just go back here, I'll just leave that class as a student. Back again. So as a teacher, what I would do is go to hellosmart.com. Oh, sign me in here. I'm just going to open up another tab then. There we go, hellosmart.com. Now I can't spell. There we go. So when I go to hellosmart.com to start with, it will join this and I can join as a student. And you can see here there's pictures of students to make that really obvious. If I click at the top here, saying, are you a teacher? And then this is more of a teacher view here, and I can sign in through that one there. When you sign into that, it's going to ask you for your Google or your Microsoft login. That's just with your school email address. And then this is part of a paid subscription. You have got a 45-day free trial if you want to try that as well. but that's how you access that as well. If you haven't got that, can give you more information about that as well. Feel free to email me afterwards to get all that in there. Right, okay, so thanks again for joining. Very much appreciated you taking your time out to learn this bit here. I'll hang around if there are any questions. Feel free to drop those in the chat. If we don't cross paths there, then feel free to email me. And like I said, we're back in a couple of weeks to continue our support. So thank you very much for everyone joining me, and I'll see you soon. Wendy, I've just read your message about the online one. If you have got a license for Smart Notebook, you've already got access to the online version as well. It's one license that does them all. And that'll depend on where you're using it or whether your school want to use it. That's obviously that question, that side as well. But if you have got Smart Notebook and you've signed in and got a license for that, then you've got a license to the online version as well. Glad you enjoyed it, Paolo, and send our regards to everyone in Belgium. Super, really appreciate your thanks as well. Feel free to leave any feedback within that form there. Again, that'd be really, really helpful for me and for my end. But thanks for joining. I've got a few thank you messages as well. I think the questions are drying up, so I'm going to jump off there and leave you to do your emails and all that other stuff you said you were going to do this afternoon. So take care. Thanks again for joining, and we'll all speak again soon. Cheers. Bye now.